Today we explored a 600-year-old church in Lisbon that has no roof, and somehow that's exactly what makes it unforgettable. We walked through medieval arches left open to the sky after one of the most devastating earthquakes recorded in European history. We stepped inside a museum layered with centuries of history and watched the story of this place unfold in light and shadow. Then we climbed to one of Lisbon's most iconic sunset viewpoints to see how this city rebuilt itself around its scars. This wasn't just a sightseeing day, it was a quiet lesson in what Lisbon chooses to preserve and what it chooses to leave unfinished. We weren't working today. Since we are slow travelers, it's not every day that we put on our tourist hats, but today was one of them. No laptops, no client calls, just a walking adventure day with our best friend, each other. We had a few spots marked down that we wanted to wander toward. We found ourselves standing in front of these pale Gothic arches that are iconic to Lisbon. They look like ribs against the blue sky. The Carmo Convent was built in the late 1300s. At the time, it was one of the most ambitious Gothic churches in Portugal. Grand, ornate, and complete. It was a symbol and reflection of the wealth that Portugal had accumulated by dominating the oceans and reaching the far ends of the world. It stood magnificent for centuries. Then, in 1755, about 450 years later, Lisbon was hit by a massive earthquake, followed by devastating fires, followed by the collapse of an empire. The roof of this cathedral didn't survive, and when reconstruction started, it stopped. Other countries had already surpassed its greatness and growth had stagnated. They ran out of money. So today, when you walk inside the ancient building, you're standing in a cathedral that opens straight to the clouds. As former professional photographers, we both could feel that there is something special when you see it. It's breathtaking. When you first walk in, light just kind of falls differently here. It's not filtered through stained glass or a dark roof. It's direct and dramatic. It's poetic, as the ceiling is now the heavens itself. I bet it's amazing on a clear night with the stars. And it changes every minute as the light changes. To enter, tickets are €7 for adults. That's $8.50 USD. And it's one of those places where you don't need to rush. You walk slowly, read the plaques on the ancient artifacts and history. You notice the scale. The stone columns still reach high even without a ceiling to uphold. As designers, we couldn't help noticing the shapes, the carved crests, the coats of arms, the geometry, the balance. The proportions still feel modern. It's awe-inspiring to think of how this was originally built, and it's humbling to think of how quickly it was destroyed. 600 years later, the bones of the lines still work, though. Inside the archaeological museum, the story expands. Fragments of tombs, really cool sculptures and ceramics, artifacts collected from different periods of history. And yes, there's even a preserved human body fully on display. There's also a short immersive light show in one of the interior halls. It tells the whole story of the earthquake, the fires, the partial reconstruction. The walls shift with light and color, and it was quite helpful to understand it all as the timeline moves around you. They did a tremendous job of transitioning this ancient surviving section of the cathedral into a functional and still relevant area.
So we finally had day 3 and not working today, and our first stop is walking around, and we came here.
Yeah, we came to the Carmo Ruins and Archaeological Museum, and it was pretty extraordinary to see. It dates back all the way to like the 1400s, and so over 600 years old, and artwork from all over the place that was collected here. Yeah. There's even a library where things were collected here. Just truly astounding.
It's amazing.
Mummies, real mummies.
Yeah.
Just wild to see.
The artwork's amazing.
Yeah, all the stone artwork and everything. Extraordinary to think of the craftsmanship and the time it takes and the scale of this place. It's huge. The ceiling, the rooftop is no longer here from an earthquake, at least in this section, but it is over in the other section.
They tried to rebuild it, but then the building got stopped, so they didn't finish the roof.
Yeah, and they kept it as is, and it's pretty awesome as is. I will say, as graphic designers, it's kind of cool also to see artwork like this, because a lot of the shapes and the lines and the topography that we use today, that's timeless, and it all started back then, chiseled into stone. So it's pretty cool to see
the fonts, everything.
The fonts, or even the lines, the outlines of boxes, and they're timeless and they work, which is probably why I love working with those as well. So.
And it's crazy, like it's all open, like we can touch the actual stone.
Yeah, you can actually touch a lot
of it. Oh my gosh,
of it.
it's amazing, like great.
Very, very cool. Well worth the visit if you come to Lisbon.
So worth it.
Yep.
Okay, let's continue on our day.
After walking through it, I kept thinking about something. How rare it is to see something so broken and unfinished, and it's still considered beautiful. Carmo isn't restored perfection like they intended, but it's preserved the story that needed to be told. An unforeseen earthquake reshaped Lisbon, and the resulting fire reshaped the iconic building and city. A changing political landscape and collapse of a global economic powerhouse shifted the tides of history, and instead of pretending that never happened, the city kept that legacy as perhaps unintentional visible reminder of how the world moves. You can feel that when you stand there and touch those ancient stones. The openness doesn't feel tragic. It feels resilient. It's a good reminder for the turmoils of the modern era. Time marches on regardless of what happens. After the cathedral, we walked quite a bit, and then we started to walk uphill. Believe me, Lisbon does not believe in all flat streets. If you have a disability, I can imagine Portugal might even be challenging in general to traverse. While getting our linear steps in, we also pumped with the glutes and calves exploring the city. We were aiming for sunset at Miradouro de Santa Luzia. And yes, it's an uphill walk, but it was worth the uphill walk. Miradouro de Santa Luzia sits in the Alfama district. It's one of Lisbon's most photographed viewpoints. The terrace walls are lined with traditional blue and white azulejo tiles. They depict the stories of old Lisbon before the earthquake. Beyond the Instagrammable spots, it was exceptional to just sit back and experience. Poetic even. Because from that terrace, you're looking at the rebuilt city and the river beyond. Terracotta rooftops stretching toward the Tagus River. Church domes are everywhere, rising between apartments. When we arrived, the light was softening. It was perfect timing, golden but calm. Locals leaned against the railing, smoking cigarettes. The kids were playing around. A guitarist played somewhere behind us. It was just the city breathing. From way up there, Lisbon looks layered with its own hustle and bustle. What surprised us most today wasn't the history. It was how present everything felt while stepping into the past. Carmo isn't frozen in the past. Santa Luzia isn't just a photo spot. People sit there, and talk there, and live there. Lisbon doesn't hide what happened to it, it builds around it. And maybe that's why it feels grounded. Pro tip, if you're visiting Carmo, go earlier in the day if you want quieter moments under the arches and fewer crowds. Take your time, it's not a place to rush. And for Santa Luzia, wear shoes you're happy walking uphill in. Sunset was totally worth it. As we walked back down through Alfama, we kept looking up at balconies, at tiles, at laundry drying in the distance, at sky framed by stone arches with no ceiling. Some places impress you. Some places shift your pace. The streetcars rumbling by inspire you. If you want to know how Portugal felt overall, what surprised us, and what we wish we knew before coming, we made a full video about that. We'll leave a link in the description below for you to watch next. And if you enjoy slow days like this, quiet history, honest travel, and sometimes some good food, hit that like button on this video and follow along with us. Subscribe to Sunsets and Speakeasies. If you have questions about Lisbon, leave them in the comments. We read them all. We'll see you in the next one.